Welcome back, y'all. Tyler Talks. It's been a little over a week since I've done a video, and I was on the podcast though, so still got to hear my voice, and I talked a lot like I tend to do. So, this year I'm definitely playing Type 2 at Nationals. I am going to have a deck ready for Type 1 if there is an odd number of people and no one else wants to play. I'll throw my hat in the ring. And that's what I was telling Jay. I love deck checking. I love answering questions. I just genuinely like helping people and just teaching as well. I do like how I judge. I try to answer quickly and move the game on and try to be fair. So I do enjoy judging and deck checking. I really enjoy playing as well. And I like where the meta's at. I'm going to love the meta next year, I think, but I really like where the meta's at. And I'm testing around some stuff with this GOC offense, but there's some other things that I really like. And this defense, however, is different from others. And this has a little bit more of like a J influence to it. And this deck is currently 58 cards. I tend to play D heavy, 57, and I love when I block my opponent turn 1. I love even more when I block my opponent turn 2. If I'm just sitting there and it's like, there's nothing you can do. Like, I just blocked you twice. It is very difficult for your opponent when they know they got, especially when you're hitting their resources. A lot of people aren't getting blocked right now. There's not a ton of good defense. We've seen Justin with GoldenEye and what he's done with the add to battle DOMs. So there's a reason he's doing so well, and he's able to block people. When I love that Joe, is it Anganetti? I forgot Joe's like Joe Mama. He just did very well at Minnesota State. He won. He got blocked once by Jaden. Really like Jaden's video coming up. This is a different Crimson defense. A lot of people are playing Thieves, and it's 3, 4 evil enhancements, and it's 8 evil characters. It's just really not my style. I like having more defense. I feel comfortable knowing that I can block, and I feel comfortable in the game thinking like, all right, I can still block here. So then I just tend to play better. And I've talked about that before. Like, what makes you comfortable in a game? And for me, it's having a defense. So if there are odd number of players, just know that there's going to be a D heavy deck thrown into the field. And I play a lot faster in person. So I'm really hoping that I do get to play, and I'm trying out a lot of different defenses. But this Crimson one is a little different than what other people are playing. And I have so many ways to the Highwayman to Coliseum turn 1, assuming I have like another Thief, that I was able to just play the strong Crimson Evil characters, like Leviathan being protected from their dominance and snagging a Job. Oh, there's a Jay's calling me. Snagging a Fire from Heaven. That's still really good. Nebuchadnezzar tossing the next with add to battles to back him up is really good. Highwayman dropping Coliseum, that's extremely good. Judas restricting their dominance and going to Thief or Deceiver, also very good. And add to battle that brings an Egyptian rebel that can ban to Sapphira, that's very good. If you make them waste their stuff and you're tossing with Coliseum or Cross, and they're playing enhancements, and you have Coliseum is really, really good with Thieves, and I'm seeing Den of Thieves get played with it. I'm not going to knock on that. But if you can toss their CBN stuff, you get the hand look with Condemned, and you can go Plunderers to Condemned. I can prevent the next, take something in your hand, take an enhancement, and I can leave you with your CBN stuff, assuming you don't have like a Shipwreck or 3 woes in your hand, which, boom, play the Cross. Complacent Cross is really, really good with Thieves. So know what your Thieves do and like capitalize on it. And if you don't have to worry about CBN enhancements because of Coliseum Cross, and you don't have to worry about dominance, your thieves are that much better because they prevent the next. So you take something that's CBP with condemned, prevent the next thing they play, and have Coliseum out to toss their CBN with add to battles. That makes thieves so much better. And when people think they know thieves, you throw in Nebuchadnezzar after you've taken an enhancement or two, and then you bring in a Nebi. Like, that's really strong. You can Gates of Hell Deceiver into a Nebi. That's really strong. So there's just a lot of ways to play thieves better, in my opinion. I feel bad, Card Game Fanatic. I really want to go on your podcast and talk defense. I really do. I need to do a better job of planning that and just setting a date and saying, all right, let's do it. So I do want to talk about defense because when Joe Mama said he got blocked once and Jaden was like, I was the only guy that blocked him that tournament, that is wild to me. And that is no disrespect to Joe Mama. He's got a very strong deck, very aggressive. It looks like the Nick Marshall school of thought. It's aggressive, it's fast, it's in your face, it's got a lot of resources and ways to win the battle. Not getting blocked the entire tournament minus one time is crazy to me. So, and maybe I'll play at Nats and people will just walk over me with a good defense or good offense. Not that I'm arrogant in any way. I just think people should be able to block a time or two in their game. So, so this is 58. We're definitely leveraging Crimson in general. Having one animal for unclean until evening is fine by me because unclean is still a 0-4 negate other enhancements. Like, that's still good. I can band with my thieves and have a negate all. That's good. Everything here is an negate or an interrupt. So I took out Mask of Vanity for Nebi's Pride because I can prevent the next, take, and toss the first. With Coliseum down early, everything I want is to negate what you do, and I want to beat you with numbers and negate your enhancements. Negate them, take them, beat you with numbers, and you just lose your heroes. Get the sneaky great image that people forgot existed. And maybe Wicked should be in here, but I wasn't entirely sure what to play for that 8th Lost Soul. So Doll's really good to have. We are not seeing, and sure enough, what do you know? We went away from Nazi, and now we're back on the Matthew train. I mean, we've been calling that all year. I've said it, Jay said it, Josh P said it. Other people have said we're going to see more Matthew. John Hendricks definitely has been talking about that on the podcast, saying he thinks that people are going to just fall right back to Matthew. There's going to be a lot of Matthew at Nats. So just understand that. Watch Babooni Tim's videos on how much Matthew averages, and against your deck, plug it in and see how much Matthew averages against you, and can you build in those counters to Matthew. And I think you should. I think you definitely should have counters to Matthew. People are reliant on getting a D4 or D5 off Matthew turn 1. Don't give them that. Do not give your opponent a D4 or D5. This deck gives them whatever they want. But this is a test deck to kind of show you concepts in this offense as well. And just showing you this defense. So you can cut down this defense if you want. I tend to use Zacchaeus as a hero. You can cut down the defense a tiny bit. Take out, if you really want it, I don't think you should take out Unclean and Leviathan. But there's potential there. You could take out Chamber. Yeah, actually, I don't think you need Chamber in here. I like negating evil cards in their territories. But yeah, you really don't need Chamber. That can actually go. Hey, we're at 57. So you can take out some stuff in this deck. Bring out an evil card, or an evil character, an evil enhancement. And then if you're playing a different offense, you can get this thing right down to 50, I think. Because we're at 57 now. Take out a Dom, take out a Lost Soul. We're at 55. Take out an evil enhancement. we're at 54. Evil characters, 53. We have tons of heroes, and we can take out enhancement. Boom, you're at 50. So I think that's perfectly fine. And from it, I enjoy playing at 57. Like I said, I like having the extra dom. I like having the extra resources. Um, I like putting my opponent on tilt and pressuring them and knowing that, hey, they don't get their dominance. There's a lot of ways to put your opponent on tilt, and defense is arguably the best one. So that's the defense and just a couple ideas and thoughts on current meta and how to block, or just kind of how to make your Thieves defense different. Just, I don't get it. Like, we use the best card. We just talked about it on the podcast. Just use the best cards in the game, right? And people are using Gospel Barf. Just GOC good stuff is what I like to call it. And we're playing GOC good stuff on offense. And then I think people are forgetting that cards exist outside of GOC, and they're playing only GOC defenses, which isn't true. I'm not saying they're only. I'm saying when they play a GOC defense, they're primarily playing a lot of cards in GOC instead of just playing cards that are good. Play Nebby and Thieves. That is crazy. You get to toss the first. It goes right with the whole aspect. They're pretty much going to have to toss a CBN if you have Coliseum down. So that's fine. But if you can get Nebby turn 1, it's just another really strong block. If you look at all these characters that I have to block turn 1, that's really tough to get around. So Leviathan to grab fire from heaven and be protected from their doms is still really good. So I don't know. And he's a 13/13, and I have all negates and interrupts for him. I also love Seized by Babylon on Nebby. So you're seeing Seized by Babylon a lot. And sure, you get the interrupt and you get the capture, but using it on a Babylon, you get to take a site or a fortress and play it. That is phenomenal. So you get to take, there's plenty of sites out there that are being played, but there's way more fortresses right now. So if you're taking their fort, that's awesome. A lot of times the fortress are the resource generators, so you're taking their resource card is huge, or you're taking their Herod's Temple is probably what I would be focusing on. I could bring Herod's Temple in here. Probably should bring Herod's Temple in here. So I'd have to cut something and bring that in. I wasn't trying to go heavy forts, and I'd honestly just bring Herod's Temple and bump it back up to 58. But that's okay. Get the protection for most of my people, and that'd be fine. But it's just a test deck. Most of it was to show you this defense and to play Thieves a little bit differently. As for the offense, I love Entertaining Angels, one of my favorite cards. It is very, very strong. You get to go straight to an angel and then band in some angels. So even turn 1, it is another way to Matthew. You got all these clay heroes. The only one who really can't play it is John the Fisherman. Like, he's always going to be purple. But you got plenty of clay heroes. And we've got Initiative, Justin Martyr to get back. Like, we're going to use Fifth Seal, and then we're going to get back Blood of the Lamb. That's very strong. Getting the negate, draw 3, playing the next is big. So we have just good resource cards. Entertaining Angels, if I already have an angel, like I usually will with Fifth Seal, angel appears, I'll be able to get an angel pretty quick. And Entertaining Angel can band 1 or 2 in, and I can go an early Res Revealer. I like that play. So you'll see also everything over here is a negate. So interrupt, negate, negate. So once again, I go to the Coliseum approach with cross, negate, and big band. And I turn my Zacchaeus. I can reserve an evil card and play, so I'll band in Zacchaeus. And I'll band in like Entertaining to Angel of the Winds into Zacchaeus. I probably should have Hospitality and Bethany in here too. probably put that in the reserve. And Good Seed that's another enhancement for Good Seed because I really don't have a lot of enhancements for Good Seed. Hate to say Great Image could come out, but yeah, I would like to have one more band. A mass band where more than likely I can band all their characters is really strong. Getting in that Zacchaeus, even if they band, I can get rid of one of them, and then Legion is going to protect your Gospel Hero from Lone. I get the draw. 3, because usually I'm going to have Gabriel, Rose Revealer, and Legion. So pretty good. That's why I like Chamber. It keeps with the protection, and I can instead things and negate the evil cards and territory. So I do like Chamber in here, but yeah, I don't fully need it. A lot of heroes to where I can get things going, and then playing. I really like banding in Justin Martyr. I think we're not seeing Justin Martyr as much because Mary Holy Virgin is so good that it's like, I don't need Justin Martyr. But Polycarp and Justin Martyr, to me, a little bit better. Like, Jake won't agree, but I love having another way to John the Fisherman. And once again, with Colosseum Cross, having Polycarp down is really good because you're not going to play CBN stuff. So if you negate anything I play, then I can Polycarp. So I really like that. And then getting back the Blood of the Lamb probably 2 times, but potentially 3 in a game is huge, especially for a small offense. I would like to play Overcome as well. Playing Overcome in the reserve, even main deck, is a good play. I just can't fit everything in right now. But yeah, so that's the deck and the idea. Get a couple band cards, get some negates, have Colosseum down, be able to block all day, and just put pressure on them through banding and just strong heroes. Justin Martyr with the Blood of the Lamb over and over is really good. So we'll find a way to bring in Overcome and Hospitality and Bethany. Don't know what yet. We could take out Great Image and have Hospitality in there. And we still want Overcome. And maybe that's just you know what? You got to play with the alternate border. Go back up to 58. And there we go. So we're at 58 again, and we have Hospitality in there. So we did give ourselves 2 more buffs of the offense because we're pretty good on defense. I keep saying add to battle's good. Don't forget it. We give ourselves multiple add to battles here. Don't put the Deceiver down. Pretty much use him. Go to deck and use a Melechite Slave. You want to keep your Unity for Sheol, and then you have Gates of Hell for both the Deceiver and the Thief. And it's in reserve, so it's fine. But being able to add your Deceiver is a very strong play, especially adding the Thief, like getting that negate and then bringing in a Thief is very strong. So if you look at the add to battles, we got Murderous Command, Doubt, Sheol, Gates of Hell. That's 4. I still want Warrior Overtaken as well. It just doesn't fit in this deck, so I went with Doubt. But I would probably take out Chronicles for Warrior Overtaken. If I could fit a Philistine in here, it just messes up my Sheol, and then I'm stuck with a dominant hand that more than likely I can't use turn 1. So it's just not the right defense for Warrior Overtaken. But Chronicles is really good in this deck as just in general, and it's just a good card that's not seen play. I do question if people forget that it discards Covenants and Temple Artifacts because that's huge. We're seeing a lot of Temple Veil, and we're seeing still seeing Send the Helper and New Covenant. So if you Chronicles them, majority of the time, New Covenant and Send the Helper are the 2 main resource generators for people's offense to fuel their reserve, to grab cards from their reserve. Are those 2 artifacts or covenants? If you can get rid of those, they can't really access their reserve unless it's a nativity and they're playing Bethlehem Stable. And guess what? We're going to try to seize by Babylon their stable, unless we have ours down. But definitely trying to get rid of what they fuel their offense. Like try to get rid of those aspects and be mindful of it. So I really like Chronicles. Once again, in a deck that utilizes Colosseum, Chronicles is very good. So, and Jerusalem can get out everything from the deck. I don't think we have the only Old Testament cards, couple enhancements and characters. Because most of the time when I play Jerusalem, my entire deck is New Testament just about. But I do have to be cognizant that I have some Old Testament cards. 1, 2, 3. And then Nebia and Leviathan. Assume I get Amalekite Slave earlier. So yeah, that's just something to be mindful of. We'll do a quick run through. I'm not going to take too much time on this. It was mostly just talking about how to play Thieves differently would be the main point, and just having a different offense. So from here, like I already have an add to battle. I already have a glory. I already have a way to, like an entertaining angels. And now I can go Angel of the Winds to Just a Martyr to grab Blood of the Lamb, and I'm already going to have Fifth Seal in discard pile for Justin next turn, and have Entertaining Angels to go to with the Resurrection. Like, I already have a very strong attack, and I have a lot of ways to block. So, no stars, no souls. If I got to go first, know what I'm going to get. Like, that's for you to know, like, hey, what are my lines of play? And sometimes I make a little bit too complex decks that I'm not entirely sure what I need to be grabbing. So I kind of want to simplify things. So now this is discarded. I have Entertaining Angels, and I already know we can grab any hero we want. We can, of course, go to Matthew, because we have Matthew plus Entertaining Angels. That's not bad at all. And we still have the Resurrection. So there's two things. We can go to Just a Martyr, get Blood of Land, have a negate, a draw 3, and an interrupt band, and snag an angel. Or we can just have Matthew draw with Entertaining. Personally, I like having 2 enhancements in my hand because Herod's Guard, but mainly because defenses like this, like we're seeing a lot of Thieves. And if they get that turn 1 Plunderers or turn 1 Condemned, I would not be happy about that. So now having 2 enhancements is nice. And I also have the Resurrection. So if I wanted to, I could play the Resurrection and get Resurrection Revealer. And I could get out Bethlehem Stable. It's not bad. It doesn't sound great. But it would give me... Then I could play Entertaining Angels. And I could have Resurrection Revealer and another angel to go to. And then I can go Resurrection, snag a dominant, or Resurrection, flip to John the Fisherman. So there's a bunch of ways. It also depends on how they block. Definitely would want to do the negate an evil card, draw 3, play the next. Really, no matter what they block with. I just realized I paused that whole time. Sorry. Misclicked. I paused. So what I did was I played Entertaining Angels, got Angel from the Sun, said a bunch of cool things, brought in Matthew, and was talking about I don't have a way to bounce in this deck. And it's not an oversight. Like, I will bring in Temple Veil. I'm just not worried about it right now because if you look at my like heroes, I don't have to do a lot of bouncing, and I don't care if Peter stays as Meek. A lot of my heroes don't need to be rebounced, but it's nice to have. And then I have some Angels and Just a Martyr, so it's not huge. I should probably bring in Hypocrisy, though, and that would give me like another outlet. So yeah, I went Angel from the Sun, Matthew the Publican, got that draw. I just said I wasn't going to bounce them. And I can show them a dominant, give ourselves what, a draw 4. We really like Forsaken in here. Forsaken to stop Child is Born and Hospitality in Bethany and just some other banding in general is really good. And once again, it goes to it just fuels the whole Thieves thing. So if I can negate opponent's banned abilities, and I'm looking at their hand with a Thief and preventing the next, and I have Colosseum down, they can't play a CBN banned because that's tossed, and they can't play any banding because it's negated. They can play it, but it's just for numbers. So, and we're seeing a ton of banding right now. Even though there's some CBP and CBN banding, there's a lot that's not. There's some CBI and then a lot of non-CBP, CBN banding. Also, this is really good to draw into because then it'll interrupt and prevent. So, sneaky little play. So then I come in with Legion, who gets to draw one, and if they had two characters, unless it's CBN, they're two characters. One would be kicked out, and then I'd be protected. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's good because he would be protecting Matthew and himself. So if they targeted Justin Martyr, he would die, as would my enhancements, unless I wanted to flip him to keep the enhancements in battle. But I have two heroes in battle with a Resurrection, with the Chronicles, with an Angel Appears, and they're being protected. And more than likely, there's only one evil character in battle. So I think I would win that one. Now, I could play Judas as good. He's really good early on, but I like him as evil in this deck. And I know the conversation that Judas is underrated. I just think that's crazy. Like, how is he underrated? He should be used all the time. So let's see. As for putting down cards, it's almost like I want to get in their head and put down Leviathan. But either way, I'm going to have to show Thieves regardless. And we know we can get another Angel next turn. And we already have Judas, Thief, Plunderers, Highwayman. Like, we have so much. So I hate putting all these characters down and showing them how much defense I have early on. But I don't want to show them Thief. So from here, we can go Highwayman. If they're like, yeah, I can block. I can get through that. We go Highwayman and go straight to a Jerusalem because we love grabbing pretty much any card in our reserve. And then we can go Judas, the Thief, negate, and then we can exchange to Plunderers if we want. Or we could go to deck. That was a misplay on my part. I was supposed to do this. My bad. Yep, that's the correct play. And then I'm supposed to end it with Condemned. I could go to Zacchaeus and get a draw 4. That's really a huge thing of why I would want to bounce, to get a D4 with Zacchaeus and then be able to use him as a hero. So from here, we got to play Jerusalem. That's huge. So one, it thinned a card out of our deck, and it added resource pretty much free at our cost. We're going to prevent the next, have Colosseum down, restrict good dominance, and take an enhancement from their hand. And we got to negate a good card in their territory. Well, we got to negate something with Thief. Let's go to them. Yeah, so if they had hand protection out through like Stable or Storehouse or something, more than likely we're going to negate that and be able to take an enhancement from their hand. And there's not much they can do. They'd probably toss a CBN enhancement and kill Judas or Condemned. But being able to prevent the next, take an enhancement from their hand, restrict good dominance, and toss CBN, they're not getting through that. And if they want, somehow they have anything, then I can play Hurling Insults and interrupt an underdeck. So from here, we could resurrect a Gospel Human hero. We don't have one. So now it's upkeep. Don't forget your upkeep. And we're going to move one random to the top of reserve. And now we get to take a good card. So we know we like to have good seed early, but we also have Angel Appears, which is nice to have. That's really good. So if we have good seed out and down and don't bother with Angel Appears, we still have a Resurrection in our hand. We could get more defense going. Like we could immediately put down another Add to Battle with Sheol. That would be good. We don't want to go to the cross just yet. So there's a lot of options. Do we think we're going to be successful in our attack without having like good seed? We want to have good seed so then we can start getting enhancements. Or do we think we need another Add to Battle and just start shoring up our defense? I think we're good for now. So we can go ahead and play good seed and not worry about that Angel Appears. And now it's kind of like, all right, what do we want to do? So we can go in with Legion and get a draw one. Or we can go in with Matthew. We're pretty much just going to Resurrection though. So I like leading with Gospel and getting the protection. I could play Resurrection before they do anything. Because Good Seed isn't going to work. Like the Resurrection is not an Add to Battle. Good Seed's an Add to Battle, but they need an evil character there. So I could play Resurrection early. It's just a matter of what do I want to do. Wait for them to block or not. And if they block, I can grab. Now remember, I'm protected from Lone and I have Forsaken out. So it's pretty tough for my opponent to band. And even if they could have a CBP or a CBN band, what I can do now is add 1, 2, 3. And my first one, I can show them Chronicles, Toss, the next, draw 2. And Lawless. And then we can Matthew. Now for this, we got 22 cards left in our deck. It's nice to still have Matthew, but we do want to flip him in this case and give ourselves a draw 3 on that one. So we generated 5 cards, 6 cards with Legion. We have Good Seed down. We reserve an evil card in play. We're tossing the next, so we're going to reserve their evil character in battle. So they really have to have protection. And if they had protection, we would have brought in Lazzy instead of Matthew and negated an evil card, tossed the next, and then brought in Zacchaeus. Or if they banded with CBP, I'd bring in Lazzy, negate their banding, be protected, and then reserve them. So very strong attack. You really want to maximize that Resurrection, which I did not. I just played it and didn't do my best stable. Whoops. That changes everything. That would be a misplay that I would not be able to do. So sometimes I just start talking and forget to complete my abilities. We're going to go ahead and just play Peter. And we have Golgotha down. Play my Pokemon. And then 15 cards left in deck. I think we're okay for Angel Appears to not snag. Resurrection Revealer, we're hoping for a Wages of Sin. And we don't want to put down too many characters. And it stinks because we're going to have to put down characters. So yeah, from here we still have a ton of ways to block. Even though it's a 58 card deck, it's very fast. And I know people equate like 58 to just being slow. And I get it. Like you need to get your dominance out. Completely understand that. If you have ways to get your dominance, like I have Legion of Angels, and I have Resurrection Revealer, and if I really want it, I can put Annunciation in my reserve. But I have a bunch of drawing and ways to dominance. I feel okay, and I should be able to block. And if I really want, I could always add Zacchaeus to battle as evil and just get like a D4, D5. This deck's very fast. The offense is very strong. It's also a little different. Having the Legion of Angels in there for that protection is very, very good. The fact that this guy grants protection to all gospel heroes is all yours is wild. Like that is very, very good. So having him in as a layer to the band is awesome. And we could bring in like other cards to support. Like we could bring in expelled from heaven if we wanted to in the reserve, with John the Fisherman, Legion of Angels, Res Revealer. Like that'd be fine. But there's a lot of ways you can go with this. I still have tons of blocks, and now I have my Add to Battles, Glory Lord, Chronicles. So even if they do choose the blocker and play Glory, it wouldn't matter. Like I have doubt. But you want to make sure you're not playing doubt and not have anything to play on top of it, because then it's going to restrict DOMs. So usually I like to go Murder's Command when they attack, if they do anything, and have that, or Murder's Command. Like I'll bait my opponent, just like throw out a Leviathan with a negate, and still have the Add to Battle. But I can go Egyptian Rebel to this, and that is just crazy. Like that is so good, having an Add to Battle, and then just throwing in Egyptian Rebel in the block on top of that. Like once you do the Add to Battle, and then it's just really hard for your opponent to get around. So hopefully you got some defensive concepts, and you see a different way to play Crimson than you have either been playing it or been seeing it. I think this Crimson defense is way stronger than what I'm seeing right now. I really like Demon Thieves. I've always been a fan of that, but that takes a lot of dedicated card space, and it's very reliant on characters. And you still lose Sheol. You can keep Crimson as is and not lose Sheol, and have just really strong Crimson cards. So Sapphire is really good with Colosseum, with CBP stuff, especially with Golgotha and Humble. So I would definitely play Egyptian Rebel, Sapphira, Murder's Command, big bands. Leviathan Unclean is still really good. So don't forget what's good just because you're playing a defense that you've seen. If it's like, well, I know this card is good, even though I'm not seeing it right now, then play it. And I think that's everything I got. Like, sure, we can go through some more, but you kind of see the defense and what it does, and how the offense attacks. So one of the decks I really like, I probably should have done a screenshot first, but I'll put this on Discord, and hope you all enjoyed. Thanks, y'all.